All right, now in this video, we're going to be doing a breakdown of the walk around, okay? I'm doing a training class at a Kia store, and I'm taking the group through how do we do a walk around with prospects. So I'm going to go through that with you, kind of give you insights on why I'm doing what it is that I'm doing and why it's important when you're doing the walk around. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. But before I do me a solid. Make sure that you remember to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. All right, so let's get into this. So Darren, like we were discussing earlier, you were looking for a kind of compact type SUV, kind of mixed hybrid, and so we got right here the Kia Negro. Now, one of the first things I really want to point out here is the fact that it has these LED lights on it and these particular covers. Now, I'm not sure if you remember, you look kind of young, but back in the day, prior to having these type of covers on lights, they would have glass on, right? And if a car was in front of you, let's just say it hit a rock and the rock skid back and hit that glass, it would shatter. And sometimes if it rained, water would get down in the light fixtures, it would impact the person's visibility. These headlights are covered with the same exact material that they make motorcycle helmets with. Here, tap this one. Touch that. So now, if a car and that rock skips back, right there, let's pay attention to what happened. Let's pay attention to what happened right there. So as you can see, I got the customer out. We're starting at the hood of the vehicle. We got the vehicle hood up, and we're starting to go through a breakdown. And one thing I started with the lights. Now, with the explanation of the light fixtures, we talk about what the feature is, what life was like without it, and what and how it is today will benefit them. So with the light fixture, I went through a story of how back in the day, these light fixtures, they're protected by the same material that they make motorcycle helmets with, which is true. And how back in the day, before they covered the lights with this type of material, if somebody was driving and a rock skipped back off somebody's tire, it would break the glass or it would shatter the light. Or how when it used to rain, water would get down within the light fixture. And then now how having this protective cover, if a rock skips back, boom, it'll ricochet. They don't have to worry about it breaking their glass. It's sealed up much better, so they don't have to worry about that water getting on the inside. Now, these things seem like very elementary things, but if you look at how it's being described and the information is being shared, this customer has seen headlights before, but what if they didn't know that it was made, the material was made with the same thing as motorcycle helmet? And what if they hadn't put together or recalled in a long time how it used to be with the rocks and how it used to be with the rain? What we're doing, we're attaching value and an advantage to this particular feature today as it compared to what it was like or what it would be like without it. And if you pay attention, I had the customer come in and touch the plastic to tap it. Is to keep the customer engaged. Too many times salespeople just have their customer just standing there. And even while I've been talking in this video, you might have thought about what you're going to have for lunch or dinner, what you did last night, thinking about your boo or whatever it is. You might have drifted off. So imagine somebody just standing there while this salesperson at this dealership is just rambling on and doing all the talking. So you want to make sure you keep them engaged so they're not bored. Keep them involved. And before you move off to another feature of the vehicle, always make sure that you get their confirmation that they agree with you, that they too see the value in this vehicle. So watch how I keep the customer engaged. Watch how I encourage and invite them to do certain things. And now you'll know why. It's so they're not standing there being bored. They're not on their phone, and it's information. And regardless if it seems like a common feature that the person may have already known about, or it seems like it's not very important, they've never heard it from you. And the delivery from you could peak something. That energy from you could be so different than the last person that showed it that they actually do see the benefit of that. The objective of a walk around is to highlight the features, the benefits, and the advantages for this person and to help them assume ownership of this vehicle. So it has to be energetic. It has to be engaging. I've seen salespeople take a customer outside and let the customer walk themselves around, which is insane. Do you really think a customer is going to look at something and justify to themselves a reason why they should pay more for it? Or will they look at it and find ways to devalue it to justify to themselves why they should pay less for it? If you said less, you're 1,000% right. let's get back to it. Make sure that you check out the Selling for Success sales training portal. It has sales training courses, audios, videos, manuals, everything you need to catapult your sales results to a whole new level. So remember, check out sellingforsuccess.org, the sales training portal.
It'll hit it and it'll deflect off. If it is raining, it minimizes and eliminates any water getting on the inside of that, making sure that your visibility is much better. And speaking of visibility, these LED lights allow you to actually see further into the distance and wider across the road. Now, in the older lights, you know, the visibility wasn't as good and the width across the road wasn't as good. So if somebody was changing a tire and it's in a poorly lit area, or if a deer is on the side of the road grazing or walking, and you had no idea, and at the last minute you see it, you could potentially hurt somebody or potentially hurt yourself if that deer darts out. What these light fixtures allow you to do by seeing further into the distance and wider across the road, you get much better visibility. That way, if somebody is changing a tire, or if that deer is grazing on the side of that road, you have much more time to be able to react. And at the end of the day, if you and your kids and your significant other are going to be riding this, you want to make sure everybody get home in one piece, right?
Did you see the tie-in? You know, your significant other, you want to make sure everybody gets home in one piece, right? Right, and they agree, right.
Now, here we go, all of your refillable containers. Now, the refillable containers that have the colored lids as opposed to just black, those are the ones where if you want to top it off yourself, you can. So this is for your windshield wiper fluid. All right. Now, do me a favor and set your hand down on this. You can
keeping them engaged.
Anything whatsoever. You know, at one point in time, if you had your car running and the engine was going, you'd be vibrating, shaking the car, and what that would do is that would potentially shake other things up under there. This is smooth. If you're sitting inside the car talking with somebody with no radio on, you don't have to worry about the sound of the engine going back through there because of the updates that they made on it. Also, this right here, a lot of people know this to just be fire retardant, where if a flame kicks up, it helps protect it, but this also minimizes sound. This makes sure that any event that this does get loud, it acts more like a soundproof barrier to make sure any conversation that you have with somebody on the inside of the car is not interrupted by the sounds of the engine and whatnot while you're rolling it. Another thing that you have lane assist. Any event that you're driving, right, and you're on the highway, and let's just say that you've been a little sleepy and you start drifting over to the right or to the left, what'll happen is the vehicle will make a noise and it'll realign itself to get you perfect in the road. Now, prior to having that, if somebody was drifting a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, somebody else was drifting at the same time and they didn't know it, bam, potential accident. And like you said earlier, you want to make sure everybody makes it home in one piece. So having lane assist, it just makes sure that while you're riding on the highway or you're riding up the street, keeps you lined up in the middle and just increases the likelihood that everybody's going to be safe. And at the end of the day, you said that safety was extremely important to you. As you can see, it has black alloy rims.
Did you hear the explanation? Now, really think about what I spoke about. I spoke about the fire and sound retardant. I talked about refillable containers. I was wrapping it up, speaking about the headlights, but does it sound like it's far grander than what it is? And I'm not using any salesy terms. I'm not making up any lies. I'm just talking about basic, real deal stuff that having the soundproof or the fire retardant or the refillable color-coded containers, how it benefits them and their family. Very important, but keeping them engaged.
17-inch. Now, any event that you like to customize yours and make it a little special, you may have that option, and we'll discuss that here in a little bit. Side fixture. Now, as you can see, the side mirrors have turn signal lights on. Now, you may be familiar with those already, but I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't at least tell you about it. Now, in previous model vehicles that did not have turn signal lights on the side mirror, let's just say your rear signal was out in the back, and you were going to merge to the right or to the left, but the people to the right or to the left, you had no idea. So you're merging and they're merging, bam, potential accident. What this does, it acts as an additional notification tool, and it blinks to let the people to the right or to the left know, hey, I'm getting ready to move over, caution, all right? And the good thing about the light is they used to have it where someone was inside of the side mirror and it was blinking. It could actually affect your visibility. By this being on the outside, you don't have to worry about any of the light getting in your eyes while you're driving to make sure that it has no impact on your visibility and increases the likelihood of you and your family being safe while you're riding. Now take a look on the inside here for me. You see what this is? That's your blind spot indicator right there. So that means that if you're riding and you can't see the person that might be trailing you a little bit that's on your left side or trailing a little bit on your right side, it'll let you know. At one point in time, before there was indicators, man, if somebody was in your blind spot, you going to get over, you get what I call the death blow, where it sounds like they standing on the horn, letting you know, watch out. What this does, if you are getting ready to make that move, that little caution light will light up and let you know, hey, be careful, watch out. There's somebody right there. And as you can see, this is also keyless entry. Now here's the benefit of that. In the event that you're coming out of the grocery store or the shopping mall and you got a bunch of bags in your hand, the last thing you want to have to do is put those down, fumble all in your pockets to pull your keys out. Now you can have your, as long as your keys are in your pocket or on your person, you can keep those bags in your hand if you want to, get there, and if you got the power or ability, you can just open it up without having to worry about putting any keys in it. Just to push that button. Another benefit of having keyless entry is that most of the scratches that come up on the vehicle would happen around the keyhole. Because when a person will put the key in to unlock it, potentially other keys that are on the ring will scratch it around it. So by you having keyless entry, minimizes, if not eliminates the scratches, keeps that vehicle looking showroom new. So let's take a look right here. So right here, as you see, we just got the interior, and it's just your typical manual.
Now, also pay attention to the distance that I'm keeping with the customer. Me being a tall guy, I'm 6'5". So if I'm standing close up on a person that's shorter than me, it could make them feel uncomfortable. So if you know you're somebody that's kind of tall or you're taller than the people that you're helping, when you're making your point, separate yourself maybe 3-4 feet, not where you're so far you got to shout, but not where you're so close where you can whisper and they can hear you either. Just a comfortable distance so nobody feels uncomfortable, because me being a big man, standing over a lady, I don't want her to feel uncomfortable. Or if it's a couple, I don't want to be towering over this man in front of his significant other or in front of their children or just over them, period. Men real weird about that. So make sure you keep a comfortable distance. Okay, so what I wanted to do, I'm not going to have us sit there and watch the whole thing, but I just wanted to really highlight and point out really just some key important takeaways from when you're going out to do your walk around. Number one, when you're doing a walk around, when you have your customer sitting, when your guest is sitting in your desk area, one, you should not be taking them out with you when you go get the keys. You check out some keys and go show it to them, especially if you don't even know where the vehicle is parked. Nothing is more unprofessional than walking around blasting a panic button, which does not sound good, going back and forth with your customer. And then depending on what part of the country is, it could be hot outside, or it could be freezing outside, or it could be raining. So if you have them sitting there, when you check those keys out, you go out and find out where it's at. That way you can set the stage. If you live in an area where there's trees around and there's leaves on it, get them off. If somebody might have took it out the day before and had a little mud on their shoes and it's on those floor mats, get them off. What if somebody left the lights on and the battery's dead? Get that jump box. But if all of those things happen and the customer's with you, guess what you just did? You just screwed up your presentation for that guest. You're not presenting it in the most favorable light. Why? Because we're so excited and we're so eager to go show them something. What are we showing them? We haven't even set the stage to make sure that the presentation is everything. And presentation is everything. So when you're doing your walk around, you want to start off at the hood. When you get that vehicle, pull it up, pop that hood, go in and get them. If it's hot outside, make sure you turn that AC on so it's set when you get out there. Or if it's cold outside, crank that heat on so it's warm in there. Okay, that AC or that heat is justifiable reasoning for when you and your guests get in that vehicle to begin your, you know what, the demonstration drive. But if you're walking out there with your customer, it's 90 degrees outside, the vehicle been sitting in beaming sun, you done hit the panic button to find it, got them over there to it, open the doors, boom, it's 102 degrees on the inside. It's got leather on it, so if they sit on it, they're going to burn their skin. There was leaves all over the front. Somebody left the lights on and needed a jump. It doesn't have to be that way. You go out, get the vehicle, set the stage. Why don't you pull it up front? Or why not pull it up closer to the front where they have a shorter distance to go walk rather than walking them all across the lot? And have that hood pop and you start off at that hood. And my thing, I suggest what I train on is you pointing out at least 3 features on the hood, on the driver's side, on the trunk area, on the passenger side, on the interior. 3 points that you just want to, you know, that you're going to highlight. And based on the conversation with them, they may have given you some information for you to highlight or target in on a specific feature to address something that they may have said. Keeping them engaged. Have them touch things. Have them knock things. Have them feel things. Tell them to follow you. Do not underestimate showing them how to open and close the gas tank. It may seem elementary, but understand this. Underneath the law of reciprocity, and that is the universal law of reciprocation, the more things that you can give to them, the more information you can give, the more guidance you can give, the more help you can give. When it's time for them to have to give something to you, it becomes easier for them to do it because you utilize the law of reciprocity. So don't underestimate when you're giving them that presentation. Give it to them, because vehicles have been brought back because the person did not know how to open the gas tank. I've seen it happen. So don't let that be you. But when you're doing your walk around, it's about being engaging. If you saw it wasn't over the top, it was just confident. And I didn't speak about anything super technical. If you go back and you watch this video and you look at what I spoke about, nothing next level. Talked about the headlights, talked about the soundproof and the fire retardant pad and the hood, talked about the refillable containers. I talked about the turn signal light on the side mirror. I talked about blind spot indicator. I talked about the rims. But the way it was presented sounded very engaging, very knowledgeable. But go back and look at what I spoke about. It's like when your parents used to tell you it's not what you say, but how you say it. That's everything. All right, so that's up for that. Now, if you're looking for more videos on doing the walk around, qualifying, greeting your customer the right way, if you want to go from 10 to selling 20 units a month, if you want to go from 20 to selling 30 units a month, it's all here for you. I highly encourage you to check out the Selling for Success sales training platform. It's got courses, it's got videos, it's got audios, it's got manuals. It got all the tools that you need to be able to significantly boost your sales at your dealership immediately. You can watch, listen, and apply instantly. And that's the good thing about it. The word tracks will help you be able to convert more customers than you might have even thought possible at your store. But it all starts with one action, and that's clicking the link that's in the description or clicking the link that's in the comments and going over and checking it out. Other than that, I'm Brian Maxwell saying I appreciate you watching the video. I look forward to seeing you at the dealership and at the top. Over and out.